So I've just come off a coaching call, and I often feel inspired to make some videos on the back of coaching calls, because often what can come up is something that is quite universal and I feel could help other people. One of the things that came up in this coaching call, really, which was, as I was talking about it, was thinking, no, I need to share this a bit wider, was how our willpower becomes more powerful when we have made something that was unconscious to us conscious to us. Okay, so that's what we do in hypnotherapy when we're using investigative hypnotherapy rather than traditional hypnotherapy, which is more about what the hypnotherapist thinks you should be doing, more about the power of suggestion. What I do is actually all around you. It's not traditional in the sense of I'm not ever going to be deciding where you should be and creating a hypnotic script to put the power of suggestion in you to take you to where I think you should be going. It's all based on you. It's all based upon observing your own story, extracting the narrative that's been present in your own life, and kind of investigating the meaning, the personal meaning and beliefs that have been running the show for you, but then gathering a common thread that's always been present of purpose in your life, the part of you that's been trying to take you in a new direction. So gathering all of that, and also installing, using that power of suggestion. That's, really the strong asset of the traditional hypnosis techniques, but using your own words. So taking you to where you want to go, and to where these parts that have been present in all of your life right from the beginning, these purpose-led parts, gathering the information from those parts and really taking you forward to what your own potential, really. So anyway, what we're actually doing in that kind of investigative hypnotherapy is bringing what's unconscious to you, what's not known to you. A good way, if you're not sure about what unconscious, subconscious and conscious means, if you substitute the word conscious for awareness, that will give you an idea of what we're talking about. So something that's sub-awareness, sub-aware, you kind of only aware of it on just under the surface level. So you're not fully aware of something, but when you're unconscious, when you're unaware, you're just not aware of it. So it's something that's running in the background that is outside of your awareness, outside of you can't see it, you can't view it. It's there in the background, it's hiding in the shadows, unseen, unknown to you. And when we actually can shine a spotlight in that shadow, so the things that have been lurking in the background in your life, and the things that have been running the show, pulling the strings, quite powerfully, you're kind of like your own personal puppet master. When we shine the spotlight on that, it's not outside of your awareness anymore. You're now aware of it. So you have choice over it for the first time, potentially. And you now have power over it. So it's not the puppet master pulling your strings anymore. You're the puppet master, and you can choose which strings to pull. So where willpower comes into this, so if we're trying to make some changes in our life and we're really struggling, and we've tried every technique out there, we've tried every strategy, we've been kind of like listening to all the podcasts, we've been reading all the books, we've been doing the courses and the workshops to use like the best practice of this change in our life. If we have these puppet strings in the shadows in our life that we're not aware of, then it's like trying to pull against something that's more powerful than you. But when we use hypnosis to become aware of what's pulling us in certain directions that we weren't formerly aware of, once we bring these things into our awareness, they can't pull us and guide us and run the show anymore. It's like pulling the curtain back on the Wizard of Oz and seeing that, you know, it's not some terrifying presence in our life anymore. You can see it for what it is. We can see all the reasons why some of these behaviours in our life are present, what they're trying to do for us, what they're trying to achieve for us. But as part of the work I do, what we're doing is we're actually updating everything into the present moment. So actually we disempower parts that are running in the past when we do that. But what's really interesting, so we're not actually just letting things go, we're not just kind of clearing out, we're not removing blocks just for the sake of it. What we're actually doing is we are empowering ourselves in the present. So all of that power and the life force that has been used by these shadow parts of us that we weren't aware of, we're taking them back. So we're disempowering those parts, but that power just doesn't disappear. We're gathering it back. So what we then find is when we're trying to make these changes going forward, we have more power available in the present moment with our willpower than we did before. So the willpower then is able to tip the balance on the power that was running a behaviour or a pattern in the background. The scales have tipped in favour of what we want right now in the present. So we're able to run with things and change things in a way that we weren't before. So that really, for me, that came up today in the coaching call in terms of the client I was working with that has been really struggling with something for all of her life, and not knowing what to do about it, trying different things, but nothing working for any length of time, just kind of short-term wins, but then always pinging back to what the old pattern was. And actually, through hypnosis, through hypnotherapy, through RTT hypnotherapy, which is the type of transformational hypnotherapy that I use, albeit with my own flavour, and albeit with my own approach to it in terms of what I'm looking for on your behalf in the session. What we're not looking just to remove blocks, just to remove old behaviours, but what I'm also looking for in that session through working with you is looking for this thread, this golden thread that I like to call it, which is the part of you that wants to make the change, the part of you that has a purpose, that has an intention for your life, also potentially running in the background that you're not fully aware of. But it's the part that guides you to get in touch with me. It's the part that knows that now's the time to make the change. And what we're able to do in session, which is kind of intangible, me saying this to you, it's an act of energy rather than it's not something that the rational mind can explain. But what we're doing is we're transferring power from the old part that's been running a particular behaviour or pattern in our life that's not helping us, which is based upon a stuck loop of something that wasn't completed back, potentially when we were, 5 years old or something like that. Once we actually update that part, so that part knows that it's not 5 years old anymore, that it doesn't need to be frightened of the same things, it doesn't need to be seeking safety and security in the same situations, because it's not 5 years old anymore, it has power. In life, it's an adult, circumstances that are different, all of these things, we update the program inside. That power that's freed up from that, 5-year-old part or whatever it was, is transferred to that part of us that knows our potential, that knows that we are heading somewhere in life and that we have purpose, and that therefore tips the balance towards more of our choice and our willpower in our life, whereas before the power was in these unconscious, subconscious parts that were running the show in the background. So I hope that makes sense, and if you've got any questions about that, pop them below and I can answer them. But yeah, that was one of the things that came through today, and I thought it'd be worth sharing what the potential is for change through hypnosis.